A number of you have asked me to show you how I transfer germinated seeds out of my Baggy method into soil. And that's what I'm going to do in this video. As you might know, I like using this Baggy method for germinating seeds, and I have a video that shows you how to do all of that. But now that seeds have germinated, how do you get them from here into soil? And how do you get them to grow into real plants? At this point, they just have the root coming out. This is a bag of Chionanthus retuthus. It's a Chinese fringe tree. And these were started in 2020, and it's now the spring of 2022. And nothing has germinated during that whole time. I started these warm, hoping they'd germinate right away, but nothing happened. So they went in the fridge for 6 months. That cold stratification can work. The next summer they came out, got warm, nothing happened again. So in the fall, I went back into the fridge for another cold treatment. About 3 months ago, I brought them out of the fridge. Nothing happened, so I just let them sit around in my plant room for a while. And quite honestly, I was ready to give up. These fringe tree seeds are hard to germinate. Today I looked at them, and several of them have roots, so it's time to pot them up. So I grow all of my seedlings in Promix, and I have a bag of that out in the garage. And every once in a while I take some of that and put it in a container like this. Any kind of Tupperware container with a lid would work. I find these short ones that are fairly large, they work the best because I can pot right inside here. The lid's important because I don't want my peat moss to dry out. If it dries too much, it's harder to wet. And that's where I do all my repotting, right in the tub. Now let's have a close-up of the seeds that have just germinated. You'll see that we have 3 groups of seeds. We have a couple there that haven't done anything yet. Then we have a couple with quite long roots. I mean, they're longer than they really should be. I prefer to pot them up with shorter roots. But I haven't checked these bags every day and they got away from me. Then there's one seed there where the root is just starting to grow, and that's actually the ideal time for potting them up. But to be honest, even with a larger root, these are very easy to move into soil and get to grow. So I'm not concerned at this stage. If you start seeing leaves growing in these bags, you've definitely left it too long. Now let me show you my actual potting method. I like using these plastic pots. That's much better than some of the new things out, like these pea pellets and so on. They're just too small. In fact, even this pot's a bit small for a tree. But since we're pretty close to the last frost day, these won't be in the house too long, and this size pot will be fine. Once it goes outside, I'll put it into a larger pot. I just reuse my pots and I don't wash them. As soon as this stuff is in the air, it's going to be contaminated with bacteria and fungi anyways. So why bother washing it? Fill the pot. Now this stuff's pretty fluffy, so I put a little extra in and I push it down well. In fact, I like using a second pot. Here's one of the small seeds, and I just make a hole in the middle. And I try to get the root down, right? The root is the first thing that shows up. So we know this is the root. We might as well give it a hand and point it down. Depending on the thickness of the seed, I bury it a little deeper. So in this case, the seed is maybe a 1/4 inch in size. So I'll put it down about a 1/2 inch. I don't think the depth here is really that important, but you don't want to go way deep with these. And that's it. Now let me show you one that has a longer root system. So this root's getting fairly long, and we want to make sure we don't damage any of this. So in this case, I make a bigger hole for that root to go down. And then I just gently lay it in here. So now that the seed is potted up, I water this right away. The peat moss here is moist, but I want it to be even wetter to get water near that root. I then put this under light. As soon as that root gets near the surface of the soil, it should be exposed to a fair amount of light. So get them under light right away. And now it's just a matter of waiting. Now sometimes these seeds go pretty quick and you'll see green growth above the soil within a day or two, but it can also take a week. Sometimes they make a good root system before the shoot starts, and this depends on temperature. Grow these cool with high light and don't overwater them. And in no time at all, you'll have a healthy seedling. If you want to know more about growing things from seed, I have a whole library of videos, and I'll put a link to those at the end of this one. Have fun with your seeds.